Good morning! By a show of hands, who here could use an extra $1,000 or two of monthly extra income? If your hand did not go up, why not collect the money anyway and give the money to charity? By a show of hands, who here could use an extra 5 or 10 hours a week to spend with their family, friends, and simply me time? If your hand did not go up, then because you're unemployed, then refer to my last question. By a show of hands, who here would like to create more passion in their personal, intimate relationship? As the AT&T commercial so eloquently pointed out with those little kids, more is better. Who thinks this morning I may try to sell you something? I will not let you down. Actually, I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I'm going to sell you something. I am. I'm going to sell you on doing the things you know you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to sell you on taking the actions that you know you need to take. I'm going to sell you on living the life that you were designed to live. I'm going to sell you on having everything you ever wanted. In addition, I'm also going to be giving away thousands of dollars worth of transformative training materials, books, tapes, maybe even a $5,000 one-on-one training session with me. Who wants to win? Put them up and say, oh yeah. Okay, keep them up nice and high. If your hand isn't up right now and you win, I promise you, I will not give you anything. No, I mean it. If this is too much energy to put up on your own behalf, then quite frankly, your life is already guaranteed to suck. Yes, absolutely. I don't blame you for sneaking up late. I would have too. Go ahead, put your hands down. I'm so grateful to be here with you today. I'm so very excited for you because I know what the next hour in your life is going to mean. You are going to experience a light bulb moment, an epiphany where the fog clears and your life is going to make more sense than it ever has before. You'll understand why you are where you are and what you need to do to get to where you're going. Who here has seen Jennifer Aniston's movie Love Happens? Aaron Eckert asks his class what they see standing outside a downtown Seattle building. The answer, smelly trash, honking cars, homeless people. He then leads them up to the rooftop of the skyscraper where they see boundless oceans, snow-capped Mount Rainier, and inspirational sunsets. And although the beauty was always there, they simply needed a different perspective to experience it. How many of you have ever seen an amazing hypnotism show and wondered if they were real? Well, they are real and it is amazing. I remember my first experience with a hypnotic show. I was a production supervisor with Unilever. We were at the annual Christmas party at the historic Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and the entertainer, a hypnotist, called me up to volunteer. I went up on stage and was selected for the show. It was the weirdest thing because while I was on stage, I wasn't quite sure what was going on. It had my brain racing. I really wasn't quite certain if hypnotism was real or not. I do remember he gave me a suggestion that when he said the word rock star, I would jump out of my seat, go to the front of the stage, see my favorite singer, and scream like a lunatic. Now, keep in mind that all of management was at this party. This wasn't just my coworkers here, but my boss and all the executives as well. I wasn't about to make a fool of myself, which may jeopardize a promotion. So I remember sitting on stage thinking, how do I get myself out of this? There was no way I was going to embarrass myself in front of my boss and all the executives. And yet the weirdest thing happened. He said the word rock star, and it was almost like a magnet pulled me up out of my seat. The whole time I'm being pulled to the front of the stage, I'm thinking, I don't have to do this, and yet there I was, screaming like a lunatic. It was a weird thing. It's really strange. And after that, I remember wondering, was I really hypnotized, or Was I simply doing what the hypnotist told me to do? And I thought about it. What if he told me to stop smoking? And I just did it. What if he told me to lose weight? And I just did it. What if he told me to be a millionaire? And because he told me I could and I believe that I would, should I just do it now? I realized in that moment that if that were hypnosis, which it is, then this is a very powerful, powerful, powerful process. How many of you would love if you got out of your head long enough to do the things you know you need to be doing to get what you want? How many would you like to give me that would like me to give you that gift this morning? How many of you would like to get as much as possible out of our time together this morning? Now, I want that for you. I do. Zig Ziglar taught us we can get everything we want if we simply help enough other people get what they want. I want to help you get as much as possible out of our time together. I want us to journey together. In fact, for most of you in this room, this is going to be the beginning of a lifetime relationship between us. I promise you, once I explain to you how you can run your brain more efficiently, more powerfully, once you understand how to achieve wealth more easily and readily without struggling, once I show you how to get all the old programs that aren't working out of your head and plug in the new stuff that does work, you'll want to hang out with me for life. I'm positive of that. Now, there may be a couple people in the room that I'm not your cup of tea. I may not be the guy that's here to train you. It's possible, not likely, and yet anything's possible. The truth is, I do want to make sure that everybody gets as much as possible out of their time with me. So for those of you that are with me, I want you to do yourself a favor. I want you to take out a sheet of paper and across the top, I want you to write these words. Do it now. Do it now. Why? Because tomorrow never comes. By a show of hands, who here has children? Who here has seen the movie Kung Fu Panda? Po the panda is taught, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a present. That's why they call it a gift. You see, what you don't do right now simply does not get done. Do it now. When? You're awesome. Now, during the course of our time together, I want you to understand I am a product of the product. I'm not simply a guy that stands on the platform and teaches stuff that I learned. I teach stuff that I live. And the reason I teach this stuff, as you'll soon realize, is it transformed my life. And I want to help you transform your life. Despite Obama telling us that unemployment is falling and the economy is getting better, the sad fact remains that America is now living, more Americans than ever are living below the poverty line. In fact, according to the U.S. Census, 21.8% out of every children, that's one out of five children in America is living in poverty. In fact, the number of Americans living in poverty since Obama has taken office has risen 20% to 50 million Americans. Now, Americans are resourceful and they find ways to survive. Even our homeless are better off than the citizens of many countries. I should know. I lived overseas and I've been homeless. When I was 10, I earned spending money mowing lawns and raking the leaves of neighbors. I had my first newspaper route at the age of 12. At 15, I was a groundskeeper, and at 17, I joined the Air Force and became financially independent from my parents. After 9 years of active duty, I sought the riches of corporate America and worked for Unilever for 5 years until I was unexpectedly downsized. I then worked for AT&T for another 5 years when I was unexpectedly downsized again. Now, losing my job like that, it really played havoc with my psyche. I felt like a failure. And that's when I met Tracy. Here was this attractive woman, well put together, well educated, paying attention to me at a time that, well, I needed it. Have you ever heard stories of elderly people being conned out of their life savings? Have you ever wondered how people could be so gullible? Well, I'm ashamed to admit it, but now I know. You see, that attractive woman I mentioned, she turned out to be an attractive con artist. By the time she was done with me, she had cleaned me out of my life savings, all my IRA accounts, my future family security, to the tune of $200,000 and left me penniless. Actually, penniless would be a step up. I still had to deal with $85,000 in IRS early withdrawal penalties from my retirement accounts. While homeless, I thought a lot about food, a lot. I mean, where my next meal is coming from, for instance. I'd often visit the food courts, pretending to clean up tables. I'd pick up the trays left behind and then enjoy the leftovers. The worst part was hiding my status from my friends. If we'd go out to eat, I'd pretend I wasn't hungry or I'd already eaten so I wouldn't have to order anything. Else, if they went on an activity that cost any money, I'd have to make up excuses on why I wouldn't be able to go. For months, I remember I had this excruciating toothache. I finally went to a dentist who offered x-rays, exam, and a cleaning for $25. He told me I needed a root canal to the tune of $500. It may as well have been $5 million. I lost that tooth. I couldn't believe I wasn't even able to take care of my own health. That's when I saw an advertisement for a slasher used car event. I camped out for a week in front of the dealership to ensure I was first in line. It totally paid off as I was able to pick up a black Chevy S10 pickup truck with a topper for only $88. It was actually pretty comfortable. I was able to sleep safely in the back, and I even had a little 4-inch black and white television that I used to watch MASH late at night. Sometimes I parked at the beach and was serenaded to sleep by the crashing waves. It wasn't that bad. Still, times are much better now. Based on what I'm about to teach you, utilizing the skills and the programs and the lessons and the strategies that you're about to get, my whole life is transformed, and yours can too. I'm proud to share now that I have an amazing wife, Lulu, two amazing princesses, ages 6 and 8, both who were students of the month, and we have no debt, and we own our homes and cars free and clear. Now, they may not be the fanciest and most expensive homes and rides, but they're paid off. I may not exactly have millions in the bank yet, but I live comfortably. And as I learned from Harv Eckert, I know that it's simply a matter of time before those millions are deposited into my account. Meanwhile, I'm cherishing the journey. Care to join me? More importantly, I know my children are being programmed so that they can make their own millions. Lexus, my 8-year-old, she recently brought a trinket for $10 and sold it to her friend for $40. When I made her give the money back, she said, "But Daddy, isn't that what you taught me?" Well, how many think your life would be much less stressed, much more productive if you were debt-free too? Absolutely. How many of you would want that for your children? I do too. Now, during our time together, I want you to understand millionaires think differently. Their brains have been programmed to function differently. And my job this morning is to help your brain start thinking more like a millionaire so you can make more powerful decisions. Who here today remembers Eddie Murphy and Trading Places? Where you are today is the result of the decisions you made yesterday. If you keep making the same decisions, you'll keep getting the same results. Does that make sense? Once you realize how liberating it is to be able to choose your own thoughts, the light bulb will turn on inside your head. You'll be able to program a new story that serves you rather than handicaps you. I know because I did that. You see, it's not that difficult to hypnotize people. The real challenge is bringing them out of the trance that they walk around in every day, telling them who they are and who they aren't, what they can do and what they can't, what they deserve to have and what they don't deserve to have, what kind of life is possible and what's impossible. I know because as a youth, I was hypnotized to believe that making money was difficult and for the rich. I was hypnotized to believe making wealth takes a lot of hard work and hard effort. And now I realize none of that is true. In Landmark speak, it was all just a story. Today we're going to talk about influence because, well, it's everything. There are truly only two things that you need to get everything you want, and they both have to do with influence. I want you to write this down. Communication equals wealth. Communication equals wealth. I'm going to teach you how to communicate this morning. I'm going to teach you how to take what goes on inside your brain and make it more effective. Be more powerful. And then I'm going to teach you how to communicate that out to other people so that whatever it is you're selling, they want. It could be a raise at work, getting that guy dressed like the cowboy to ask you out on a date, or simply getting your friends to go see the movie that you've been waiting to see. I want you to write this down. Intercommunication is called programming. Intercommunication is called programming. It's the 1,500 words per minute that are whizzing through your brain right now, telling you who you are and who you aren't, what you can be and what you can do and what you can have. Write this down. Outward communication is called influence. Outward communication is called influence. It's the ability to communicate with other people in such a way that they want to give you what you want. Influence is not getting someone else to say yes. Influence is getting someone else to ask you for what you are selling. Influence is getting someone else to ask you for what you are selling. How many of you like that concept? How many of you want to learn how to do that badly? You know, Wesley, times are tough now. The company has been bleeding cash for years and is going through a reduction in force. Our personnel budget has been cut severely, and now's not the time to make new expenditures. But you're different. You've taken the time to outline all your contributions. I recognize how valuable you are to this company, and I know how much you like it here. Frankly, we can't afford to lose you either. It's only 10%, but would you accept this raise with my sincerest gratitude? How many of you think it's possible to communicate in such a way that they will communicate to you in turn that way? Yes. What you give out is what you get back. And since it is possible, how many would like to learn how to do it now? I want you to write this down. It's imperative to your success in any arena that you step into. As an entrepreneur or laborer or parent, write this down. Those that are afraid to buy are always afraid to sell. Those that are afraid to buy are always afraid to sell. See, the economy revolves around buying and selling. We're in a so-called recession now. I'm not in a recession. My business is better than ever. Lord knows the oil companies are making more money than ever. Their profits are through the roof. So I guess then, here's the question. Who's in a recession? It's the little guy. Who's the little guy? Not me. Do you want to be known as the little guy? I think not. My point is, there is a way for you to win this game that's different from how you've been playing it. And it works. I'm not suggesting you should gouge people like I feel the oil companies are or my daughter did to her friend. What I'm suggesting is you should Get smarter and figure out how to give people what they want. Dale Carnegie shared in How to Win Friends and Influence People. Personally, I'm very fond of strawberries and cream, but I have found out for some strange reason, fish prefer worms. So when I went fishing, I didn't think about what I wanted. I thought about what they wanted. So I didn't bait the hook with strawberries and cream. I dangled a, a worm in front of them or a grasshopper and said, wouldn't you like to have that? Why not use the same common sense when fishing for people? Our leaders tell us we are in financial peril due to the decisions of past administrations. How many of you figured out that what causes a recession now is a lack of cash flow? How many of you realize that? Once on the way to Vegas, my friend Jade and I stopped at the Barstow Factory outlets. She walked out of the coat store with a new bag on her arm, and with a great big smile on her face, she exclaimed, "I'm helping out the economy." And you know what? She was. You want to save this country now? You go out and buy. You betcha. You go out and buy. Go out and buy that bicycle the kids have been asking for. Go out and buy that vacation you've been dreaming about giving your family. Go out and buy that car that's been exciting you. Go out and buy. Why? Because when cash is flowing, the economy is good, isn't it? I mean, how come people have such a hard time understanding that on a personal level? You want to make more money now. You've got to go out and create more cash flow. How many of you realize that there are people that you talked to before you came to this program and you told them, hey, I'm going to this conference. And they said, oh, you're going to another seminar? Don't let them try and sell you anything. As if your buying anything is bad for your economy or, frankly, even theirs. Understand, I'm on a mission right now. I love my country. I fought for her in the Air Force and I'm fighting for her now. My mission is to reestablish America as the land of prosperity by opening people's minds, arming them with new tools and a new perspective. How many of you think that millionaires not only think differently, but they act differently too? How many of you believe that? They do. And for the sake of this discussion, I'd like to categorize people into the haves and the have-nots. I'd like to permission to call the haves anyone who's earning $1 million or more a year joyfully. Who's okay with that definition? Now, it doesn't have to be passively. My income isn't passive. I'm here actively, except I'm here joyfully. I'm here doing what I want to do, not what I have to do. So how many of you kind of actually like that definition? Yeah, a person that earns $1 million or more joyfully every single year. You like that? And for the sake of the discussion, I'd like to define the have-nots as anyone who isn't earning $1 million a year joyfully. How many of you like that definition? Oh, I lost a few of you. Well, I get it. And here's why I lost you. It's because you're not earning $1 million or more. Now, some of you may be thinking, Wesley, that's kind of rude of you to say. Well, I get it. And you do want me to tell you the truth, don't you? And the truth is, I want you to get irritated. I want you to break free of your comfort zone. Tony Robbins emphasizes that the forces of pain and pleasure that govern our motivations and actions in life. Varying the amount of pain and pleasure can push us in one direction or the other at any given moment. He also taught us that most people are more likely to be driven by escaping pain than acquiring pleasure, although both are in play. Now, the good news is it's not that difficult to help you join the haves. The challenge, though, is you've been programmed since birth to be a have-not. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. You've been taught ever since you were little how to be a good have-not. Most of you have been taught how to be really good laborers. Even our schools and universities are designed to teach you how to be good employees. Those that labor earn the money for those that think. How many of you agree that's almost certainly true? Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. The trick is you simply need to change your thoughts. I mean, with your parents, the first hypnotists, they were, uh, you non-critically accepted what they told you to be true. And some of the stuff they told you was messed up. Uh, they may have thought it was real and they really did love you, but it didn't serve you. I once found myself at a small gathering at the home of a friend of a friend. They were Samoan. His wife was about 5'5" and easily weighed 200 pounds. Her kindergarten-age daughter repeatedly kept running up to her and interrupting her. Exasperated, the mom yelled, "You fat, ugly girl! You're such a fat, ugly girl! Go back to your room! You're a fat, ugly girl! Get away from me! I don't want to see your fat, ugly face!" I was shocked. The little girl was simply trying to share her joy with the most important person in her life, and her innocent face instantly changed from happiness to despair. She was obviously crushed and hurt. She cried all the way back to her room. On the inside, I was crying with her. How many of you believe that if you took a child from the time he was born until he was 8 years old and you spoke to the child that way, you would massively scar the child for life? How many of you believe that child grows up to be fat and ugly? It's a tragedy. You know, we had this fun presentation going on. Then I shared a story that lasted a few seconds, and you can feel the whole tone of the room shift. You can feel the tension in the moment, and it wasn't even directed at you. It was directed at this little girl that none of you even know or can see. And yet, everyone still feels her pain. Can you imagine hearing that every single day for the first and formative years of your life? Can you imagine that? Now, what if you took that same girl and from the time she was born until she was 8 and repeatedly told her, "Leslie, you are a gift from God. You are touching lives and changing the world. You are making this a better place to live." How many of you think that child now grows up differently? She does. When you program young minds that way, they turn out vastly differently. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Hogwash! Words have power beyond imagination. I want you to write this down. Money is math. Money is math. What do I mean by that? Well, you buy something for 5,000 and you sell it, or it makes you $1,000,000. How many of you think that's a bargain? Yes? How many of you would want me to sell you something for 5,000 that you can make $1,000,000 with? How many would want me to? If your hand is not up right now, go ahead and leave. No, I mean it. I've got nothing for you. I can't teach you. In fact, nobody can teach you because you simply don't get it. I mean, your brain is so locked into, "I don't want to buy anything," that that "I just want to make money." I get it. There's a lot of people like that. And the reality is, they're part of the problem right now, not the solution. You see, for some of you, it is starting to sink in. People get stuck in this mindset that it costs too much and therefore I can't afford it. Millionaires, millionaires say it costs this much and it makes me this much. Let's go. Except it's a shift, isn't it? I get it. I know it's a shift. I know it takes a different perspective because I've been there. Abraham Lincoln said that if you only have 1 hour to chop down a tree, you spend 40 minutes sharpening an axe. Now, you can chop down a tree with a dull axe. You can keep whacking that tree, and eventually the tree will fall. But why? Why would you want to do that? When you get done, your hands will be blistered and bloodied, and you'll even be in a worse position than you started. You wouldn't be able to chop down another tree. I want to invite you to journey with me. Tom Hawkins taught us how to get everything you want. It's an extremely simple method, not easy, but extremely simple. Write down these 12 words. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Doing this requires only 4 steps, but it's not simple. Doing the most productive thing possible just means that. It doesn't mean look busy. It doesn't mean good enough. It doesn't mean getting by. It means doing the most productive thing possible, no matter how distasteful or hard it may be. It may mean facing an unpleasant task. It means shooting for the top when you know you should but are afraid to. It means preparing when you need to prepare and doing what you need to do. That's why it's not easy. It's sort of like keeping your New Year's resolution. You either do it now or it doesn't get done. Here are the 4 steps required to do this. You must consistently do this over and over until it becomes second nature. Number 1, tell yourself, I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. Number 2, decide what the most productive thing is. Number 3, do it now. And number 4, go back to step number 1 and start over. Now, don't go crazy here. Sometimes the most productive thing is to sit down with your significant other and simply watch the sunset. Sometimes it might mean taking a power nap. And sometimes it might mean getting that much needed vacation. But oftentimes, the most productive thing you can do is also the last thing you want to do. This is what separates the haves from the have-nots. The haves almost always do the most productive thing at any given moment. Take that action, make that investment, sharpen that axe. The have-nots almost never do. Do the most productive thing at each moment, and your future is assured. Do it now. What is the most productive thing possible at this given moment? Well, you're the axe. Kevin Hogan is the pumice stone. I'm the grinding wheel. I came here to make it easier for you to chop through your life challenges. And as you begin to attend my seminars, some of you may not like me. That's okay. I'm not here for you to like me. I already have a great set of friends. I'm here to change your life. However, by the time we're done, I promise you, you will love me. 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, you will love me. You'll come up to me and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Wesley. You helped change my life. You helped me find the girl of my dreams. You helped save my business. You helped me regain control of my health. How many of you invested substantial sums in seminars? How many of you gone to different seminars at different times and bought books and tapes that are not using the information you already learned? Put them up. I get it. I know you. I teach people just like you all the time. How many of you think that it's possible for you to personally become a millionaire? Yes? How many of you think that there are a million ways for you to become a millionaire? How many of you think there are a million ways for you to become a millionaire and you already have the knowledge it takes to become a millionaire? Put them up high. I agree. So, if it is possible for you to become a millionaire, there are a million ways to do it, and you already have enough knowledge to do it, then I guess the only reason that you're not a millionaire is you. How many of you would agree with that? Yes, it's painful, and yet when we come to the realization, we say, it's me, change me. Write this down. In order for things to change, you must change. In order for things to change, you must change. People ask me, how are you different than, say, a superstar like Tony Robbins? Well, there are a few things. First, we aren't a motivational company. We simply don't teach. We also program. We get right into your head and allow you to think differently. Suddenly, the things that you used to do that were comfortable aren't so comfortable anymore. Even without thinking, you automatically begin to do the things you know you should be doing and haven't done. Second are the results. Imagine in every interaction, how would your life be different if people were desperate to instantly say yes to you? The program is the culmination of years of selling synthesized with cutting edge, leading academic research into compliance gaining, persuasion, and influence. You can't find a program like this anywhere designed for you. How many of you believe that there are people that walk into a circumstance and know they have great value to other people, and they are positive of what's about to happen? How many of you want that level of confidence in your life? I want it for you. I do. I want to give it to you. I have a full day program for you. It's called The Psychology of Persuasion. Investment for the course is $2,500. Women especially judge men based on their level of confidence. Now, how many of you believe that if all the program did was make you 10 times more confident than you are right now, it would easily be worth the $2,500 investment? Put them up way high. I want to see it, because unless you start grasping it now, you're always going to be a have not. Go ahead, put them down. Now, I know what it feels like to pray the guy on the platform is looking out for you and wants you to have the life you want to have, because I've been there. I've been to seminar after seminar after seminar. And why did I keep going to seminars? Because I knew there was something that I was missing. I was positive it wasn't to be found at work. I mean, I was a hard worker, I was highly educated, and it just wasn't working. I was waiting for a genius to appear on the platform, a man who was so obviously clear of mind and purpose, he could get me what I wanted. I was waiting for a man that, no matter what the words that came out of his mouth, I would be so captivated I couldn't help but grasp onto every single syllable. He wouldn't merely tell me new information, he would also confirm to me everything that I thought that would work. As he speaks, I would instinctively realize that all my old programs were standing in the way. I would realize it was my own fears that were stopping me from getting what I was wanting. Now, whatever he spoke, I knew I need this. And whatever it is he's selling, I was positive I was buying. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm selling a seminar valued at $2,500. Now, for many of you, $2,500 is simply out of the question. It may as well be $250,000. No matter how much, you want this badly. You simply couldn't raise the funds right now. I get it. I was there. So for those of you that stand up right now and go back to that table right there and get yourself registered right now, I'll reduce the investment from $2,500 down to $1,495. Sir, what's your name? Chris? Okay. Chris, are you going back to that table to register for the psychology of persuasion? Aren't you doing that? You realize you're looking at an investment of $1,495? Yes, you're going back to register? Chris, I have an extra gift for you. Since you're the one that understands that people need to make their lives happen, you did exactly what I would have done. Because you have more faith than anyone else in this room, that you were the first one to get up, I'm going to give you an additional $5,000 of private time one-on-one with me. Do you like that? Great. Yeah, you're very welcome. Everyone, make them feel good. I don't blame the rest of you for going back to register. I will make you this promise. When you go back there, it will be way better than the $1,495 that I'm alluding to. Way better. It's way better than a money back guarantee. And the only way to find out is to get up and get back there. Find out. There are also thousands of dollars of free gifts waiting for you back there when you sign up. Make sure you get your share.